Okay, let's go.
You know, when we think about money, we usually picture spreadsheets, numbers, all that logical stuff, right? But what if I told you that being good with money has almost nothing to do with how smart you are and everything to do with how you behave? Today, we're going to dive into the key ideas from the incredible book, The Psychology of Money, and see how our financial lives are really driven by our feelings and our mindset, not just math.
So let's just kick things off with a huge question that kind of gets right to the point. I mean, think about it. You probably know someone who's a genius, maybe a doctor or an engineer, but their finances, a total train wreck. If it was all just about addition and subtraction, shouldn't they be the best at it? This little puzzle points to a much bigger truth.
And here's the big reveal. Financial success isn't really a hard science. It's more of a soft skill. The whole idea is that your behavior, your habits, that's so much more important than your IQ. It's about how you handle things like greed and fear, how you think about risk, and all the lessons you've picked up from your own totally unique life.
Okay, so let's dig into that first big idea, where your beliefs about money even come from. Turns out your worldview on finance is basically a story that's been written by your personal experiences. And guess what? No two stories are ever the same.
Just imagine this for a second. Think about your grandfather's generation. They might have lived through some really tough economic times. So for them, money is all about security, something you save cautiously. But maybe you grew up when things were more stable. So you see money as a tool, something you can use to invest and take risks. Now here's the thing. Neither one of you is wrong. You're both just reacting logically to the world you've seen.
And that quote really hits home, doesn't it? It means that our own little slice of experience, which is just a tiny blip in history, by the way, well, that tiny blip basically dictates our entire view of how the financial world works. We're all walking around with our own set of blinders on.
So what does this all mean? It means the next time you see someone doing something with their money that just looks bonkers to you, like buying a bunch of lottery tickets instead of putting money in savings, just pause for a second. They're not crazy. They're just playing a different game with a different set of rules that make perfect sense to them.
All right, now that we've established that we're all a product of our own stories, let's add another layer to this. We're talking about the huge forces that are totally out of our hands. Luck, and its flip side, risk.
Okay, let's talk about a classic success story. Bill Gates. The guy's obviously a genius, right? He worked his tail off. We all hear those stories. But is that really the whole story?
Yeah, not even close. The thing is, his incredible drive and his genius ran headfirst into a one-in-a-million shot of pure luck. He just happened to go to one of the only high schools on the entire planet that had a computer back in 1968. Think about that. Without that single lucky break, the Microsoft we know today might not even exist.
You see, luck and risk, they're really just two sides of the same coin. For every Bill Gates who caught that lucky break, there's another person, just as smart, just as driven, who got smacked down by a bad break, an unlucky risk. It's kind of a humbling thought, right? That we're not always the ones in complete control. So, if so much of this is out of our control, what are we even doing here? What's the goal? Is it really just about piling up more and more stuff, getting more? This reminds me of an amazing story about the author Joseph Heller. You know, the guy who wrote Catch-22. He's at a party, and some billionaire comes up to him and points out that he made more money in a single day than Heller's masterpiece book made in its entire lifetime. Heller's reply was just perfect. He said, "Yes, but I have something he will never have, enough." And that's the trap right there. It's this idea of constantly moving the goalposts. You hit one financial target, and what do? You immediately look at the person who has more. This endless comparison game, this constant need for more, has absolutely destroyed people who, by any measure, already had it all. So if more isn't the real goal, what is? What's the one thing, the greatest thing that money can actually buy for you? What's the real prize at the end of all this?
The answer is so simple, but so powerful. It's freedom. It's the ability to wake up one morning and say, I'm going to do whatever I want today. Doing what you want, when you want, with who you want, that is the ultimate form of wealth. Control of your own time is the best return you'll ever get on your money.
Okay, so that sounds great, right? Freedom. But how do we actually get there?
Well, the book boils it all down to two incredibly powerful levers that you can actually control.
First up, time. And no, this isn't about being some Wall Street genius who can pick the perfect stock. It's about letting the magic of compounding do its work over a long, long time. I mean, look at this. The real mind-blowing growth, it doesn't happen in the first 10 years. It's in year 20, 30, 40, and beyond that things really take off. Time is absolutely your best friend here.
And that brings us to lever number 2, your savings rate. Look, your income can go up and down. The stock market's going to do whatever it's going to do. But the amount of money you decide to save, that gap between what you earn and what you spend, that's the one thing you have 100% control over, always. It is the most reliable tool in your entire financial toolkit.
So when you put it all together, you realize that the psychology of money is all about a huge mindset shift. You're not playing a game of spreadsheets and calculators. You're playing a game of behavior. It's about owning your personal story, respecting the power of luck, figuring out what enough means to you, and then pulling those two big levers, time and savings, to buy yourself freedom. So the only real question left is, now that you know the rules of the real game, how are you going to play?